What is Sri Vidya and what is the benefit of Sri Vidya, of practicing Sri Vidya? From the perspective of science of mantras, the science of mantras has two kinds of mantras. There are mantras of Devi, feminine energy. There are mantras of masculine energy. Within those, masculine and feminine, you have further three types, which I won't go into now. But the mantras of Devi, of feminine energy, are called Vidyas. So when there is a mantra of a Devi, it means Vidya. A good mantra of a Devi will always have what's called a seed syllable. When there is seed syllable in a mantra, then it's like sowing a seed. That seed is going to go inside you, in your consciousness, and sprout and make you a worthy recipient of the grace of the deity of a mantra. Every mantra has a deity, an owner of that mantra. If I were to look at Devi's physical form, for example, that's her visual aspect. But her sonic aspect, the aspect of sound, if I were to represent mantra, a Devi by sound, I would use her mantra. For example, if you meet somebody who does not know Om Swami, how will you tell that person who is Om Swami? Let's say you don't even have a picture. If you have a picture, you'll say, oh, this is Om Swami. And he was not in Big Boss. So, so you'll say, this is Om Swami. Or you might say, oh, his name is Om Swami. To represent this entity called Om Swami, you will use the name called Om Swami. And just like you have a phone number, you call that number and you get straight through to the person. Mantra is the number of that god or goddess. Through a mantra, you get through to that energy. Now, Shri means Devi, the primal mother, the first mother, the empress. Om Shri Mata, Shri Maharage, Shrimat Singhasaneshwari. She is Shri Mata, the mother goddess. Shri means somebody whose refuge you can seek. You can never seek the refuge of a weak person. You can only seek the refuge of a strong person, of somebody who is stronger than you. The more faith you place in your object of worship, living or non-living, the greater benefit you will derive from that object of worship, because it's up to you how you are going to invoke it. If you place that faith, you will derive greater and stronger inspiration and strength. So Shri is when you can seek Devi's refuge. She alone is capable of giving refuge. Shri Maharagi, because she is the empress. There are two words. One is Maharani. The other one is Maharagi. Maharani is the queen. Every Maharaja, a king, has a queen. Maharagi is somebody who is the empress in her own right. She may have a king of her own. The emphasis is on Devi, Shri Maharagi. Shrimat Singhasaneshwari, most gloriously she is seated fearlessly. Nobody can move her, Nobody can remove her. Nobody stronger than her. Nobody can dominate her. She is Devi. Just like in that dance we just saw, that little girl who was Kali. Look how fearsome and ferocious she was. Nobody could dominate. Every once in a while, a woman assumes the form of Kali to protect her children, to protect her family, to protect what she has created. So Devi is capable of offering you refuge. Chidagni kunda sambhuta deva karya simiddata. That's such a Devi. She can only be invoked from the purest recess of your consciousness, of your heart. Chidagni kunda sambhuta, where the fire of your consciousness rises to invoke her. Sri Vidya is the knowledge of invoking that first Devi, Mother Goddess. Going by the Puranic legend, when Ma Durga was, she came about, she originated, before her existed the first consort of Shiva, the first form of Shakti. That's Devi called Sri Vidya. In Tantra, Tantra has 10 key Devis. And they begin with Kali and end with Kamlatmika. In between there is a goddess called Mahatripur Sundari. Tripur means 3 cities, which refers to 3 modes of material nature: Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. 3 states of a human being, which is dreaming, awake or sleeping, and rest of the elements. So she is the most beautiful Tripur Sundari. Sundari means beautiful. She is the owner of all that is there. Now Sri Vidya has certain aspects. There is formless Sri Vidya, and there is formed Sri Vidya. In formless aspect, you might pray to goddess in the form of Kundalini, the energy aspect. Or you might pray to her simply, simply sonic aspect, which is just the sound, which will not have any rituals, just extraordinary chanting and recital of Devi's mantra. And third is the aspect which is worshipping her form. When you pray to her form, that Sri Vidya has further 3 aspects. First is her mantra, the sound, her sonic representation. Mantra can be Trayakshri, which means 3 letters. It's generally how you get somebody started on the path of Sri Vidya mantra sadhana. But that does not mean this mantra is any less potent than the longer mantras. This is a dynamite in its own right, because Trayakshri has only 3 seed syllables. Each one can be placed on a different chakra, or each one can be placed in one part of the body, depending on which energy you want to invoke the most. After Trayakshri, then if an aspirant, if a seeker, a practitioner is walking the path properly, then he or she is given what's called Panchadashi. Panchadashi is a mantra that comprises of 15 letters. Panchadashi means 15. Even though I'm using the word letters, in between this mantra at 3 different places called Trayakuta is the seed syllable, which is not actually a letter but a combination of letters. It's a word, not a letter. It's a syllable. Once a sadhak a practitioner really shows progress on the path, then the Guru may choose to give that person what's called Shodakshari, a mantra of 16 letters. But generally, it's not needed at all. Panchadashi is pretty much whole soul. Second aspect of Sri Vidya is Lalita Sahasranam, 1000 names of the goddess. When we love somebody, we give them so many names. We call them with different names. But when you are angry, you would almost always address that person with his or her just formal name. You won't call them that lovey-dovey name you might have given them earlier. You won't say, honey, why are you shouting at me? Why the hell are you shouting at me? You'll say something like that, or you get the idea. So Lalita Sahasranam are 1000 names of goddess. That I am going to call upon goddess in everything. And whatever I am going to do in my life, Maheshwari, Mahakali, Mahagrasa, Mahashana. She is Maheshwari, the ultimate controller. Ishwar, Maha Ishwar, the supreme Ishwari, the one who has that presiding force over everything. Mahakali, she is the ultimate destroyer, the beginning of all creation. Mahagrasa, she can gobble up the whole creation. Unmesh Nimish Utpanna Vipan Bhuvnavali. In the blink of an eye, when Devi opens her eyes, creation happens. When she closes, in that blink, destruction happens. In that blink, creation happens again. Vipanna Bhuvnavali, many planes of existence get created. Third aspect of Sri Vidya. So Lalita Sahasranam is used to invoke our sentiment towards Devi, that she is everything. Anything that happens to you in your daily life, in your life, if you can give it a name, you will find that name in Lalita Sahasranam. And then those who cannot do Sahasranam, for them there is this thing called Trishati. Trishati is 300 names of goddess. Not the full 1000 names. But I always say, just do Lalita Sahasranam. Just stick to one thing. That's always been my philosophy. Third aspect of Sri Vidya is a Sri Yantra. A Sri Yantra is the energy representation of Devi. You can have a 4-dimensional Sri Yantra, also called a Meru Yantra, on which you do. Or you can have a flattened Sri Yantra, just a drawing. And if it's just a drawing, then you are going to offer, in fact, even on the other one, if you are a good practitioner, good aspirant, then you are going to offer right at the place wherever you need to offer whatever worship you need to offer. Why? Because Sri Yantra contains all the companion energies of Mother Divine. So Sri Yantra is not just praying to Devi, but it is also invoking all the other energies. Before the Prime Minister of a country would make a visit anywhere, there are going to be many teams that are going to visit that place to make sure it is all okay. There is going to be that multi-tier security, multiple blankets to protect that VVIP person. Similarly, before Devi is invoked, there are other energies, various siddhis and yoginis, yakshinis and nityas. I will come to Nitya in a moment. They are invoked before you invoke the Devi. So right in the center of Sri Yantra, like an auditorium, in the middle is the speaker. Devi is called Bandhav Vasini. There's a dot right in the middle. That's where Devi lives, because everything has originated from a dot. You can call that dot a sperm, you can call that dot an egg, you can call that dot the seed of the universe. And there are 15 Devis called 15 Nityas. Before I talk about that, before I go further on Sri Yantra, how you invoke Devi depends on which kind of mantra you are initiated into. In Panchadashi, the mantra of 15 letters, put it this way, syllables would be the right word. There are three types of Vidyas, three types of mantras. One is called Kadi Vidya, one is called Hadi Vidya, one is called Sadi Vidya. Different sages invoked Devi with different mantras. So depending on the lineage you are initiated into, you would know which is your mantra. Your guru would tell you. Now, fast forward to Sri Yantra again. So there are 12 nityas called companion energies of Devi that are invoked. Depending on whether you're a householder, or you are a sannyasi, a renunciant, or you're somewhere in between, half householder, half sannyasi, or depending on your goal, your guru is going to give you the process of worship, which is done in one of the three ways. First is called Sthiti Kram, Srishti Kram. In Srishti Kram, Kram means sequence. In Srishti Kram, you are going to invoke the 15 Devis over 15 dates of lunar calendar. And 16th, at the cusp, is Mother Divine herself. Second is called Sthiti Kram. Srishti Kram is used for householders because they have desires they want to fulfill. Desires relating to themselves, their children, their families, and so on. Very rarely a householder is without desire. There's always something he or she wants to still get done in their life. So for them, it's Srishti Kram. They are going to start on the waxing moon, that phase when moon is waxing, on the first lunar date. So in Srishti Kram, you invoke the Devi by way of expansion. You will start on the first night and you will go for 15 nights. 16th is the cusp when that ends. Kameshwari, Bhagmalini, Nityakalinda, Bharunda, Vahinivasni, Mahavrijeshwari, Shivduti, Turita, Kulusundari, Nitya, Nilpataka, Vijaya, Swarmangala, Jwalamalini, Chitra, Mahanitya. Nityan Mahanitya. 15 Devis. Each night you invoke one Devi. And on the 16th you invoke the Devi, Mother Goddess. Her appearance is momentary. Only an extraordinary practitioner can hold the form of Devi for any more than a moment, because she is in the cusp of that date. There is no 16th date as such. It only comes for a very short period. For a sannyasi, for a renunciant, they are not really supposed to fulfill their desires. They're not supposed to keep their desires in their heart and go after them like a householder would. So they go for what's called Sangharakram. Sanghar is destruction, the sequence of destruction. Householders would go for the sequence of creation. In sequence of destruction, the process is reversed. And then there is a Sthiti-kram. Sthiti-kram is to sustain. Srishti Kartri Brahma Rupa Goptri Govind Rupini Sangharini Rudra Rupa Tirodhan Karishwari Sada Shiva Anugrada Panchakritya Parayana. That Devi alone assumes the form of Brahma and creates as Brahma. She assumes the form of Vishnu and sustains. She assumes the form of Shiva and destroys. She takes on the form of Ishwar and just gets everything in order, that cleansing, complete Tirodhan, annihilation. And then she alone bestows grace to bring everything back to life. These are simply 5 different aspects of Mother Goddess.